Behind the door is my terrible 1973 MGB with no wheels and 4 jack stands.
Perfect. And what's our plan to do with this thing in a month?
We're gonna try and drive it to, what, Kentucky?
Kentucky's the plan.
Yes.
Well, let's go check it out. I haven't even seen it yet.
Let's do it.
Pop it open. So this is it, man. What did you buy? Is it a good car?
No.
Looks fantastic.
Really nice.
Matt, we're gonna need these. Did you bring some? Every time you slam the door, pieces of rust fall out of it.
Yeah, so the previous owner, he cross-threaded the oil filter on this, and basically that destroyed the threads on this oil filter head. So when I screwed a filter on, changing the oil, it didn't seat down all the way. There was a gap between the bottom of the filter and the head. So it just dumped oil all over the ground, which kind of sucked.
So today we're going to fix that?
Yep, we're going to fix that.
Let's get it done. Okay, commence poundy poundy.
Go for it.
So we have the new filter base in there, or pedestal, or head, whatever it's called. Threaded that in. We had to reuse the old gasket. Some sketchy things were done. We're going to fill it up with oil, and that should be good for our oiling system for all we need to do today. So we're going to fill that full of oil, slap it on, get our hands covered in goop, and then make an even bigger mess when we find out we didn't tighten something, and spray oil all over the floor.
Fingers crossed.
Are your hands the torque wrench?
Yep. Torque it down as hard as you can, and so then when you get it off, you have to stick a screwdriver through it, destroy the filter, and leak oil everywhere.
Is that the procedure?
Yes, that's more or less.
The goal is that it goes in faster than it goes in the ground. Is your battery fucking dead? Well, are we any closer to getting to Kentucky?
Marginally, yes.
We actually did some things today. We made some progress. We're going to have to pick up the MGB story at a different chapter. I think this is kind of, we did good for today. Not as much as you might want, but so it goes with old cars. Well, it's almost a month later. We're here in Toronto, and we obviously didn't get Matt's car ready in time. Does that mean we give up and take a normal car? No. Behind me is the Cletus-Vette. You've seen it on a bunch of episodes of Reidus and Cletus, and it is what we are taking on this 1,500 mile road trip. It will be the Cletus-Vette's longest road trip ever. I've taken it on several 600 mile road trips, but never anything this big. So I'm a little excited, I'm a little nervous, and today is day one. I'm starting in Toronto and driving about 2.5 hours to Buffalo with a border crossing. We're going to cross the border. I can't wait to see what the border guys say about this thing, but that should be day one. So let's load this thing up and hit the road. At the end of day one, you find me here, the beautiful suburbs of Buffalo, New York. And I'm here because it's Matt Bartlett's house. This is where essentially the road trip is going to begin. And the car did the trip pretty much okay. It got a little hot waiting at traffic for the border crossing, but other than that, it cruised just fine and made no problems all the way here. It wasn't until after shooting this I realized that the heater core had exploded and was leaking coolant into the footwell. I wonder why. It got a little hot waiting at traffic for the border cross. Was our road trip over before we had even started? We'd have to tackle this fix the next morning. I showed up last night in Buffalo and everything seemed well. And it wasn't actually until I was unpacking the car I noticed that there was coolant in the footwell. Basically means the heater core is broken under the dashboard and it's leaking, which is not good. I had this happen to me when I drove a Triumph TR6 once and it was pretty bad. Yeah, actually it broke down again. We made it 1.5 miles from where you last saw us. It's an adventure. Seeing as it's 80 degrees today and we're going to be going on this big long road trip, probably want to get that taken care of. So our plan is not to fix the heater core, which is the right way to do it because we're out here in the middle of nowhere. But what we're going to do is take the heater core lines and loop them so that basically we're cutting off circulation to the heater core, and that should at least stop the leak. And I don't think we really need a heater if it's 80 degrees out. Oh my god.
Hey, honestly, it's working better than I would have thought.
Just remember guys, this is a vacation.
It is, yeah.
We took off time to do this. We do work, and this is our vacation in a garage cutting open coolant lines that we're paying money for the privilege of doing.
You know, honestly, I wouldn't have it any other way.
I wish I had a normal hobby. I wish I was
I know.
into quilting or something. After removing the lines from the heater core, we cut them to length, and using a special copper adapter, we joined the two lines together. We put everything back together, and after bleeding the system, everything was working perfectly. Well, you're not going to believe it, but right after our test drive, we went to open the hood, everything was working well, and after 47 years of flawless use, the hood hinge decided to snap. So the hood is now off the car. We've got to fix it with some bolts, and then maybe we can leave for Pittsburgh. I can't believe it. Everything is going wrong today. With the hood and the heater hoses fixed, we were finally on our way out of Buffalo. Okay, so last night we got in pretty late. We didn't want to shoot like a, hey, we made it thing here because it was dark, it was cold, and we were tired. What was yesterday like?
Very hot and very loud.
That's true. So we did another 220 miles in this thing yesterday, which brought us from Buffalo, New York to here, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and today is a rest day. We're not driving anywhere really today. Today we're just going to poke around the city of Pittsburgh and see some sights, and that's kind of going to be it. Well, we didn't shoot a lot of video this morning getting out of Pittsburgh. We were pretty focused on getting to Falling Water on time. We just toured the Frank Lloyd Wright House. It was pretty cool.
It was awesome.
So we just kind of poked around Falling Water because why not? We're outside Falling Water, Pennsylvania, and we're going to continue to
Franklin, West Virginia.
Franklin, West Virginia is where we're headed. Ironically, we checked the map. It says it'll take us like almost 3 hours to get there, but it's only 87 miles away. I guess the roads here are just so twisty-turny. Anyways, we'll find out. We're gonna hit the road soon and see how it goes. We kept following the GPS and look where we ended up. That's right, dirt road, middle of nowhere, like the second time this has happened. So we're going back to a real actual atlas because the GPS keeps taking us on crazy dirt roads. Not that I don't mind taking the Corvette on crazy dirt roads, but like it's literally closed. It's like there's literally no way through here. So honestly, we're just gonna have to keep sticking to the interstate because if we get onto these small roads, we just have no way of knowing if they're literally passable or not. So we're gonna go down and take some highways and make it to where we're going tonight. Ugh.
So, welcome to Franklin, West Virginia. You know, it's a state that a lot of time gets kind of a bad rep, but really I have nothing but good things to say about it. There's 200 some miles of twisty mountain roads between us and Charleston, West Virginia, so
We're gonna go make time, let's hit the road.
it's gonna be a good day.
Let's do it. The roads between Franklin and Charleston were amazing. This is what we had come all this way for. We were winding through the Monongahela National Forest, side pipes echoing off the trees and blasting out of hairpin turns. But sadly, it was all over far too quickly, and we finished our day with a heat-soaked slog on the highway to Charleston. The next day we spent exploring the city of Charleston, and it turned out to be a surprise highlight of the trip. There were super cool old buildings and relaxing sidewalk brew pubs. We also visited the state capitol building, which was under repairs at the time, so it looked like it was wearing a giant hat. Now what I'm going to do is essentially just skip over the roughly 250 miles of driving that happened between Charleston, West Virginia and Cincinnati, Ohio. The foothills of Appalachia faded into the plains of Middle America, and we even dipped into Kentucky for a part of the drive. We made it to our overnight destination of Cincinnati hot, stinky, and exhausted as usual, and now we rejoin the action just outside of Cincy the next morning. Today we woke up in Cincinnati and drove just a little bit out of town to Dayton, Ohio, and you can't see it around here, but we're at the Museum of the Air Force, which is absolutely huge. We're going to go walk around and see some really cool planes. And then after that, we're going to go all the way to Cleveland. The museum is absolutely gigantic and holds over 360 planes, rockets, dirigibles, and spacecraft in its 5 hangars. I really liked the large amount of vintage airplane engines the museum had on display. It was cool to see the different designs made before the modern jet turbine dominated air travel. My favorite plane in the museum was a massive B-52 bomber. I don't think I've ever seen a plane that big. Matt, meanwhile, loved the record-breaking X-15 rocket plane. It's a plane that flew twice as fast as an SR-71, which is another plane known for being incomprehensibly fast. We could have wandered around this place all day, but we had to hit the road and make time towards Cleveland, Ohio. And that drive was not terribly exciting as we blasted along the interstate at 70 miles per hour towards our overnight stop.
So fun times in Cleveland today.
We're here with Matt and Matt. So I actually know both Matts from the same online car forum. We're all in the opposite lot car forum. He brought out his awesome RX-7. This thing's what, an 85?
85.
It's pretty cool. And we were just inside checking out that car museum, which was your idea. They had some cool stuff in there. What was your favorite cars that you guys saw in there?
I really like the stainless Continental.
That's pretty cool. What about you, Matt?
I'd have to second that.
You guys both like the Continental was a champ.
Yeah.
None of you guys are picking the Carousel?
Is that a car?
It's a carousel.
Carousel? Alright. I'll take that.
I think my favorite car there is probably like, I don't know, one of the sports cars. Probably like the Gullwing or the Corvette or something. Predictable.
Oh yeah.
But
Gullwing's cool.
as you can see, it's just starting to rain, which means we should probably get going. Our next stop is going to be all the way up in Buffalo, New York. So we're going to go north. Matt, you're going to go south? Thanks for coming out, man. It's great
Nice
seeing
to meet you.
Matt, where are we?
We are back in Buffalo. 9 days, 7 states, somewhere in the ballpark of 1,500 miles.
The Corvette did drink an entire 5-liter jug of oil on this drive. That averages out to about a liter of oil every 270 miles. But it was a great trip. What did we learn about the Corvette as a road trip vehicle?
So it is extremely loud, extremely hot, no air conditioning, no radio, no mufflers, no comfort, really.
Why didn't we take the Acura right next to us?
I mean, what's the fun in that?
That's a good point. So we're going to do the same thing next year?
Maybe we'll take my car next time.
Which car?
Hopefully the MG.
We'll probably try to get that MG running. But for now, it was quite the trip. All right, to the MG.